Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we wonder aloud, who is next in the sell-off of bourbon distilleries? My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, George Rose, Katie Joyce, Lori Mangum, and Lenny Eckstein.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Hello. Hey.
We're going to have some fun today because we are going to take some guesses at who do we think will be the next distillery bought out. Again, no insider information at all, purely speculation on our part. So we want to let you know that we're not sharing anything that we're in the know on, because we're not in the know on anything. But we want to have some fun, and then we want to make the case. You want to throw something out and then make the case why they would be bought out next. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, I got to say that I got to do something fun today. I went to the St. Louis Symphony, and I enjoy going to the Symphony. And sometimes it's to see shows, kind of classical things. Sometimes it's to see seasonal things, like a Christmas show or something like that. Today, it was actually to see, they do a whole series where they do, and there's 2 different ways they do this. Sometimes they do like popular rock music, and then they play the music of Led Zeppelin or The Who or whoever, which is kind of cool. But the other kind of pop culture type of series they do is they play movies, and then they do the soundtrack for it live while it's happening. And today they did Jurassic Park, which was cool. And my kid loves it, and I hadn't seen it in a while. It is great, man. That's a great movie. That's well acted. I mean, Jeff Goldblum. I don't normally really like that guy. He's perfect in that. You could not have had a more perfect person than Jeff Goldblum in that movie. It was great. And it's just a great film. And that. Do you guys like going to a symphony type of music? Because the warden wanted me to ask this, and she said, first of all, nobody here will have gone to the symphony. I said, I think Lori is cultured. I'm going to think she's going to be in, and I think that Katie goes from time to time too. But we'll see. We'll see. That was my guess. I said the warden gave 0 credit.
What the fuck?
I don't think Becca's ever gone.
Here I am sitting here thinking that I am friends with the warden. Here I am. We had a nice time together down at Maker's Mark. I was the epitome of just a perfect, cultured woman down there, and she thinks that I don't go to the symphony. For one, I live in Sparta, Kentucky, so can't really just regularly go.
Has one. You go to Bengals games, and that's a Reds game, so you can't be like
only when Mandy Kaplan books those for us.
Okay, well, you have access to the Cincinnati Symphony,
but I do like the symphony.
Really?
Yes,
Did you
I
go
love it.
back in Dakota?
Yes, we actually have a nice little we've got the Minot Symphony Orchestra, and I like going there for a Christmas. What I don't like.
Amy and I are both wrong then.
What I don't like. Fuck you too, Steve.
I didn't guess you either. I thought you were going to be a no.
I like the symphony. I think it's fantastic. But what I don't like is people who are not paying attention at the symphony. They're like getting up. They're on their phone. I went there with one of my girlfriends, and she was like swiping on Tinder, and I was like, "Get the fuck off your phone."
She's on Tinder.
I'm like, it's so rude. Like, why are you, like, you look rude. Like, and I'm like, and you look like this girl had said that she loves going to these things. And then she sat there swiping on Tinder the whole time. And I'm like, whatever. But I like the symphony, Steve.
Okay,
so
Beka
is words to you.
Yeah.
I like it too, Beka. You can come to Louisville and go with me anytime.
Thank you. That would be fun.
Yeah, the Louisville Orchestra does those movie series too. They've been working their way through a lot of the John Williams stuff. But they've also done, we've seen all of the Harry Potter at the Louisville Orchestra, except for Deathly Hallows, because they haven't done that yet. And yes, I am a nerd. And then we've seen all the Star Wars. They just finished that original trilogy. The
real ones.
And the real ones, yes. And let's see what else. They do like a seasonal pops, and then they usually do like a series of American composers. And sorry,
she was the first one I instantly said when the warden was like, "None of these folks will be in trouble." For sure, Lori, 100%. And then I think Katie probably too, but we'll see.
I also live like 7 minutes from there, this is.
I knew that one. That was a slam dunk. So let's go to Katie next. And the other two are the wild cards. I have no idea. I'm guessing no.
Apparently, I was a wild card too, Steve.
They're both curmudgeons. The other two. Beka was a surprise. The other two will be a major surprise. Beka's isn't as big a surprise as the other two, but we'll see. Katie, how about you?
So I do enjoy the symphony. Yeah. I prefer live theater, so I would much rather go to like the Fox and see shows rather than symphony if I was given the choice of one or the other.
Okay, so today you could have gone. There was both of them going today. So today you could have gone and seen Jurassic Park, the great John Williams composer playing that music, or you could have gone to the Fox and broken out your costume because they were like right across the street from one another.
Right.
We see the people flowing in. Frozen was being going on there today.
Oh, Frozen! Absolutely.
Oh God! Oh,
part is I just love theater.
Shame.
So much.
Shame.
So, like you could have said anything. My favorite
Frozen.
So also part of it. Okay, so my boyfriend was a professional musician. He was a trumpet player, and so
he should enjoy the symphony then, not Frozen.
Well, and so he did theater though. So he did Broadway tours for theaters. Like he was an elf, multiple years in a row. So I got to go see him when he was an elf, and I got to sit in the pit. And so I just love
that's fun.
That whole experience.
Yeah,
but I do enjoy symphony as well. I actually had a very memorable symphony experience in Dallas. We had gone down there and actually to see Elf, one of my boyfriend was playing, and we went to the symphony as well. And before it though, we went to a bacon restaurant, and they had bacon themed everything. So we had bacon appetizers, bacon on our meals, etc. And fantastic meal with, some whiskey, not a lot of water. Get to the symphony, had great seats like in the middle where you have to like get past like 20 people in order to get to your seats. I was the thirstiest I have ever been in my entire life. All the salt of the bacon like set in,
dried you out.
And I'm sitting there listening to the symphony, dying. I'm like, this is how I die. I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm going to literally die here.
So thirsty
of thirst. And I didn't want to interrupt anyone because I would have been to make 20 people stand up. Yeah. So I wait until intermission. And I didn't even go to buy water bottles because I would have known I would have spent like $300 on water. I find a water fountain and just shove my face in this old water fountain that barely shoots. Oh my gosh. It was an experience.
This is going to take me down a side streak here. Now you're going to get the old man anger thing going. So I'm at the symphony.
Here it comes.
Man anger.
I'm at the symphony today, and of course there's an intermission for everything. So they do an intermission during the move, which is fine. And we wait till everyone, because I like the end. Of course, I'm a big guy, so I make sure my ticket's always on the end. And I finally sit down and they go, tap, tap, tap. It's getting ready to get started. And here comes a guy. He taps my shoulder. He says, I need to get in my seat. And I look down. It's all full. And there's like 20 places. The only spots that are open are if you start from the left and work your way right, I was all the way to the right. Number 1 and 2 were taken up. 3 and 4 were open. And here's this guy and his wife out of 20 seats. I wanted to I go around to the other goddamn side. You're almost to the other. Why you got to make all 16 people get up and get out of your way when you could just walk down the aisle and then just pop in and make 2 people? That's
ridiculous.
Does that anger you?
Yeah, that's rude.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
it is rude, right? Why?
Very rude.
Why make it's this is a Powell Symphony's old. There's not a lot of everyone has to kind of get out of the way, get in the aisle, or you have to brush up against one another. That's ridiculous, people.
And they were late. They're very.
And they were late. Yeah. That's another thing too. Well, be on time. Then you don't have to. Everyone's waiting around to let everybody get in, and then you wait till everyone sits down. But I
Yeah.
digress there. That's enough on that one.
Rude.
Lenny, do you go to the symphony?
I mean, I live 2.5 hours from the closest.
Okay.
The most
not an
recent
excuse.
example, I
So
guess.
he
I
goes
would
like
say
every
it's
other
an
weekend,
excuse.
not
Yeah.
every weekend.
He goes to Denver all the time. Yeah.
I saw a portion of the Denver Symphony play like the background for a show at a venue in Vail this summer. I'm not
does
going to
not
go out of my way to like. There's just
That
too
does
many
not
damn
count.
good things to do. I don't live in a city. If I did, I'd probably go once in a while, maybe if it was something epic. I like the sound of Star Wars symphony stuff. That sounds
Okay.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not a hard no for me. It's just
Sounds like it is. It kind of is.
Access.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, I
I
saw
was
sense.
dead on about Lenny. By the way, my instincts were right about Lenny. So yeah, that's good. And George looks like he's sleeping now. So hopefully he's awake. Oh, there
Because-
It looks comfortable.
Oh, he's up.
he's up.
Hi, George.
Hello. I'm a big fan of the Electric Light Orchestra and Trans-Siberian Orchestra,
Uh-huh.
but that's about as close as you're going to get me to a
There we go.
symphony.
I was right about that one too. There we go. What if we see a guy in a hockey mask in the background of George sitting out there in the woods?
Like, George.
Do we say anything or just let him go? That's George's problem.
Oh, he's
got the gun.
packing.
He's got the gun. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's fine. George will be fine. All right. Well, so we don't need to say anything. If you see anything, don't ruin the show by interrupting the show if George's about ready to get killed. Because don't worry, he's got a gun. He'll be fine. All right. It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Miss Beka Sue this time. She went last time. It seems only right she should start this thing out. What do you got?
I have got this very dark bottle here.
I don't even know what it is.
You should be able to guess what that is because it's so dark.
It's just dark.
just looks like a
It's
black
Stumpy's. It's Stumpy's. Yeah, it's
Yep.
Eve's Blind.
Eve's blind. This came from Steve.
Yep.
See if I can maneuver this here. I don't know if I can get it fucking open. Oh God.
That's a new one.
Oh God. It's not gonna be good because I've had to twist the top. Okay. It's on there.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Wow. Lenny's
Wow.
never heard something like that before. That,
what I just heard.
Lenny doesn't even know what cork bark sounds like.
yeah. All right. All right, Katie, what do you got?
I have some Bren 10 year.
Hmm.
That doesn't
Recently.
seem like bourbon.
Okay. You know what? It's not, but it is relevant.
This is going
to
terribly
today's
wrong.
topic.
This is terribly wrong.
It's relevant for today's
Oh.
topic because it was one of the Samson Surrey that were just purchased. So I feel like it's the only time that's ever going to be appropriate for me to drink my favorite whiskey ever, which is Brett. It's not bourbon, but
Wow.
Oh, ridiculous.
French.
It's terrible.
I somehow heard that before it looked like it was open. How did
Yeah,
that happen?
no, it was a fake cork pop, clearly. It was a bad fake cork pop. So, all right. Lenny, what do you got?
I've got another bottle brought from sea level up to altitude. Some Cedar Ridge Rye.
Okay, Cedar Ridge. All right.
oh, man.
What was
He
it?
took
All
the lead.
time.
He took
Never
the
heard
lead.
of something
Took the
like that
lead.
before.
Holy
Did you see how aggressively he pulled that off though too?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
usually Lenny goes like really slow, like
Yeah.
I had to
messing
slide in
around
my
with
own.
it.
aggressively ripped it out of the top. I think that's your trick, Lenny, is you have to aggressively rip the top, like the
right.
cork out of them.
All right.
When
Lenny's
I'm
got the lead.
accused of not knowing what a cork pop is, I have to answer the call.
That's it. That's it.
Like, I'll show you who knows what a cork pop is.
I have heard one, and I'll show you right now.
All right, Lori. Good luck beating that. That was pretty good.
Well, I'm gonna bow out on that one because I have a screw top.
I would
A
say
friend
just
of
go choose a
mine-
screw top.
Yeah, a friend of mine got one of my unicorns and shared a little bit with me. It's Parker's Heritage Collection. It's a heavy char 10 year.
Okay. Nice. I've got Heaven's Door here. Heaven's Door. So let's see what we got. So silent almost. So I guess it doesn't matter because Lenny had such an explosive cork pop.
Cheers, Lenny.
Cheers.
Here's the Lenny.
Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And when we come back, it's going to be speculation time. We're going to see if we can come up with who is going to be bought out next. We'll do that in just a few. talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
I'm McNew. Don't mix your grain and grapes. Not a good time. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about who's getting bought out.
Who's next? That's the question of the day. Who do we think might be next? Lenny, you look like you.
Well, I think this is a weird question in a sense. Like, I think it's a good question, but I almost don't want to answer it because I feel like I'm calling out brands like you're next.
You're under a non-disclosure agreement.
Oh, yeah.
I just, that's not the case. So I don't know that this is a brand that will be acquired right away or if it's on their radar, and the reason why I went with Cedar Ridge was for this reason. I find it fascinating, if I'm not mistaken, that they are the highest selling bourbon in Iowa.
Yes, they outsell Beam.
Wow.
That's amazing, right? Like, they're a craft brand. They're a pretty good sized craft distillery as far as I understand.
They are,
But
yes.
damn, like, how awesome to have that level of hometown support. Now, again, I have no idea what's on their radar, if that's their goal, if they want to be a
That's
family.
what this show's all about. We're saying up front, we don't have inside information. We're not saying that the sale is imminent. We're not saying they've ever told us anything. Yeah. So to put them on a speculation thing, it makes some sense. I think that's well thought out. That's a good one, Lenny.
Yeah, so, we'll see.
Okay. Anybody else got one?
So my question was, do we think they're going to focus on individual brands or do another grouping like they did with Samson and Surrey? Because they bought all of Samson and Surrey, which was Few, Widow Jane.
But is there any other groupings like that? That was kind of unique, right?
Not yet.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I agree. If there's some that are like, we want to be bought out, that's the way to do it. Put yourself together. But I don't know that there's any other thing like that out there yet. There
kind of is. Certainly there's ones that we're not aware of, and there's like private equity groups that must own more than one brand.
Perhaps.
But the Leaper's Fork just got acquired by Pole Rogers, which they only own one other whiskey brand out of Scotland. It's a fairly major one. I forgot, Glen something. But on one hand, like you look at Samson and Surrey, that wasn't an immediate grouping, or maybe it
No.
was, but I think they like kind of slowly built that
They
up.
had slowly built it up, yeah.
Right.
And I believe some of it they got together because of distribution issues. Because I know Bren really struggled with that, especially, and so they had kind of grouped together to help their distribution efforts, which was why they started all grouped together. For I know at least some of them of why they joined it. That was their motivation to do so.
I think there's going to be more of that for that exact reason.
Even if you would look at companies that are under the same mid-sized distributors currently, like even there, so we have like Show Me Beverages here in Missouri.
Yeah.
And so even if you would look at the spirits that they have under them, and if they're currently in the same grouping under the same distributor, I wonder if they would start trying to pick off groups like that even.
Yeah.
What do you think, Katie, if I said, because I've got good friends in the business, what if I said, let's sign an agreement with the ABV network where we are loosely affiliated, and then we all try to get bought out together.
And really,
that could work.
Yeah, I think that could be a good strategy actually, because you're gaining
get everybody who's on the
for
same page. You got to talk to
everyone,
Lenny and Stumpy and Royce and be like, hey, I don't know anything will happen with this thing, and we can dissolve it at any time. But you know what? Maybe that's the power of what we can do.
Goal, and especially if that would be a goal, what someone's interested in, they don't want to just stay.
Because these guys got to make sure I'm taken care of. Because then I got nothing else. I got nothing to do once they're all out of the business.
Right.
I'd be left behind. I got to work all the time. What, by myself, interviewing who? George Rose every day. I mean, I got nothing left. They got to make sure. I got news for you,
Steve. I hate to break it to you, but Pappy G's Wilderness Distillery is available.
Fantastic.
Yes, it's out there. That could be a possibility. Maybe that'll be a thing I work on.
Everything's for sale.
That's all. Yeah, everything's for sale. The check just has to be big enough.
Another one I thought was, I think, isn't New Riff still individual?
I was gonna say New Riff.
I think that's the one, right? I mean, they have
that was the first one I thought of was New Riff.
Everything we talked about on that previous show, they tick the boxes of. Plenty of production, distribution's great. People think a lot of their products. I mean, so they're making good. It's kind of a sexy brand. Owner not getting any younger. I mean, he's been around long enough to start a business, cash out, and then start another business. And at what point is it just enough? Not to say there's never such thing as enough money, but at some point maybe there is, and then you don't have any headaches and hassles either. If you know, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe,
what about that one over in Columbia, Illinois?
Illinois, maybe. I
mean, they've got the
Stumpy
capacity.
Spirits.
Got the capacity.
Yeah.
According to Adam, and I guess I have to believe that. Of course, they're not rocking and rolling right now, but they could get to that. His capacity exceeds New Riff, so not that he's putting that much out, but the other day he laid down 50 barrels in a single day.
There you go.
So I mean, the potential is certainly there. So he could be susceptible or excited. I don't know what.
I mean, if someone shows up at your front door with a check for $400 million,
are you selling out? Are you convincing to sell out Neely?
No, well, I mean, Royce said he's like 400 million. I mean, like 400 million. Like, who would be like, I don't know, I just, but like $400 million.
It could be a whole lot less than that.
A lot of million.
Have the exact same.
Yeah.
Way less than that.
So, I mean, it could happen to anybody, I guess.
I mean, sometimes when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into something, sometimes it's not.
My blood, sweat, and tears is worth $400 million. I can tell you that much.
I think as well, same. But I could see.
But I agree. Like,
companies are like, no, you're not going to gobble me up and change what we are. Go screw yourself.
I mean, Royce has said that often. That he's like, we wouldn't sell out, but like, when he sees some for $400 million, he's like, well, in that case,
that's kind of a game changer, right? When you see those numbers, then it's
Steve, you brought up an interesting point with New Riff. I hadn't thought about their ownership, but with regard in terms of their age or how much longer they have left. But if you think about the landscape of craft distilling and what they've grown, think of like the first and second generation. I mean, they're only like 10 to 15 years in for the most part, but how old are those that started these distilleries? Like 10 to 15 years in, fast forward another 10 years, then they're like 20, 25 years in, if they don't have someone taking it over, they
Right.
do have to think about their exit.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think that is
Yeah.
going to lead the way to distilleries, not just waiting for the call, but paving the way to, have those discussions brokered. Like a lot of
Right.
distillers are going to start to look for that.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I do think that plays when you look at what's the next generation for them, and Ken Lewis. I don't know his personal story enough to know about what his personal situation is. I don't know if he has kids, but I know that he doesn't have any kids that are involved in the business. So it doesn't seem like that there's any next step, family wise. So that plays into it. It's that certainly plays into, is that going to be a long term thing, or at some
Right.
point is the company sold out? And I don't know the answer to that. And again, we're not making the show because we know the answer to anything. We're just kind of trying to speculate who might be next. So, that's certainly one that fits the mold for sure.
So
Garrison Brothers down in Texas. You've got
Oh,
the two
yeah.
Garrison Brothers. They've been doing it a long time. Again, as far as I know, between the two brothers, there's not any kids that are involved. It's not like, hey, this is my daughter or my son that is working involved in that. And they seem like they'd be old enough to have kids that would be in the business if they're going to be in the business. And I don't see that. And at some point, again, they certainly have the distribution, and they have a place. They could be one that's certainly on that list.
Mhm.
I don't know, but they
What
could
about Iron Root Republic?
be. That one, that would be a tougher one, only because you're talking about two owners. The older brother just turned 40 today as we record this, and then Robert being the younger brother, and they're both early in their lives where they could be still thinking about a legacy thing where, hey, maybe my kids will want to be involved in this, and I think Jonathan has children. I don't. And Robert doesn't. So that again, anything can be bought, but but I would think that might be one that, because of potential down the road, legacy type of thing, maybe it's not. I don't know. The family seems like they're all having fun. The whole family works at this thing. The kids are, the grandkids are around there, young. You've got the grandma and grandpa both working there. Marcia Licorice kind of managing everything. You've got the father serving as the intern. You've got the boys, distilling and marketing and sales. And,
It's the only thing that makes me wish I had more kids.
more workers.
go adopt some.
Yeah, some 18-year-olds.
Yeah, they can go to work right away. Yeah, that's key. That's key.
And get out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any other ones we think might kind of fit the mold of? This could be
One that popped into my head that I just know would never sell, but might be highly desired, would be Uncle Nearest.
Mhm.
Of course, that's
You don't
definitely
think
a
so,
legacy
but
reclaiming
maybe
and a legacy building, because
it could be.
I think that Fawn is more positioning herself to acquire as opposed to being acquired, because
yeah.
Uncle Nearest is owned by Grant Sidney Inc., which is wholly owned by Fawn Weaver.
Right.
And she's making investments in, minority entrepreneurship and building kind of those opportunities, and has already been investing in some other smaller craft type things. I think that she wants
But
to
she's
maybe
building
not
something.
be-
The point, though, Lori, that she's building something so good and doing such a great job building up that you never know. She could get that knock on the door one day from a Diageo, and she's going to be in that. Hey, $300, $400, $500, $600 million.
I think they'll want her, but I
discussion.
think she'll say, thank you kindly, but no, thank you.
It could happen though. Yeah, you just don't know. You don't know. But if Diageo's willing to throw you $600 million, there's a lot of other things. Fawn's still young enough. She's got a whole career where she could do other things, or focus on the charitable aspect of what she does. She does certainly a lot of charitable.
That's true.
I don't know. You never know what drives people individually. So yeah, it could be just, hey, I want to build this up, and this can be a legacy brand that's that it can't be without me, and maybe she wants to. I don't know, but yeah, it's a fun one to talk about for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anybody else? Well, there's some good ones. I think there's a couple good ideas, and we'll see what happens. I do think that there's going to be more, and there may be more from that come out of the list that we provided today, and there could be more that are just surprises out there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. George, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Ask Pappy G at Facebook. Instagram is Pappy G in Kentucky 1967, and TikTok, Pappy G in Kentucky.
All right, Lori.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at Spirited Curves.
Katie.
You can find me over on Instagram at KatieProof.
Lenny.
You can find me and the rest of Deerhammer on social media at Deerhammer, on the web at deerhammer.com, where you can order our bottles shipped to your door, and you can come visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado.
Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website is abvnetwork.com. Please check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. And, of course, don't forget about the ABV Barrel Shop. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com, sign up for email and text distribution list, and you'll be in the know about everything that we've got going on. All right, we'll wrap this one up by asking Miss Beka Sue if there's anything else I should do before we get out of here.
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.